At 3:42 p.m., while Emily Parker was signing her name on a daycare clipboard, her phone vibrated with a message that would split her life in half. It wasn't dramatic. It wasn't long. It was just enough to destroy everything she believed was stable. "I'm in Madrid. I won't be coming back. I'm sorry." For a second, Emily thought it had to be a mistake. Madrid was a city she and her husband once talked about visiting together someday. Not a place he would disappear to without warning. The daycare hallway buzzed with noise, children laughing, parents chatting, doors opening and closing, but Emily felt like she was underwater. Sounds became dull and far away. She read the message again, slower this time. Madrid, Spain. Not a business trip. Not a vacation. Gone. Just like that. Her hand shook as she slid the phone into her purse, forcing a calm smile onto her face as the teacher called her son's name. Noah came running toward her, backpack bouncing, cheeks flushed with excitement. "Mom," he said, wrapping his arms around her legs. Emily bent down and hugged him tightly, holding on longer than usual. She pressed her cheek to his hair and closed her eyes. This was not the place to fall apart. Not here, not in front of him. The drive home passed in silence except for Noah's happy chatter about finger painting and snack time. Emily nodded at the right moments, answering automatically, her mind racing. Daniel had left the country. With no warning, while she was living her normal life, believing in promises that apparently meant nothing. When they reached the house, Emily unlocked the door and stepped into a space that still smelled like Daniel's cologne. His shoes were by the wall. His jacket hung on the chair. Everything looked the same, but nothing was. That night, after Noah fell asleep, clutching his favorite stuffed bear, Emily sat alone at the kitchen table, staring at the message on her phone. She didn't cry yet. Shock had a way of freezing tears. She replayed memories instead. Daniel proposing to her during a snowstorm in Chicago. Daniel holding Noah for the first time, eyes full of wonder. Daniel promising, again and again, that family came first. Those memories now felt like scenes from someone else's life. The truth came out in pieces over the next few days. Emails she hadn't seen. Credit card charges she didn't recognize. A woman's name that appeared once, then again. Daniel hadn't just moved. He had planned it. He had built a new life while Emily was packing lunches and folding tiny socks. Friends were angry for her. They wanted her to fight, to yell, to demand explanations. Emily didn't have the energy. Every morning she got up, made breakfast, took Noah to school, and went to work. Every night she tucked her son into bed and told him everything would be okay. She wasn't sure if she was lying to him or to herself. Weeks turned into months. The silence from Daniel became permanent. He sent money, short messages about Noah, nothing more. No apologies that felt real. No attempt to return. Emily learned how lonely evenings could be, how quiet a house sounds when dreams leave it behind. But she also learned how strong routine can be. She started freelancing more, managing bills on her own, fixing things Daniel used to handle. Each small win mattered. Some nights were harder than others. She would sit on the couch after Noah slept, scrolling through old photos. Family holidays, beach trips, smiles that now felt fragile. She wondered how someone could walk away so easily from a life that looked so full. She wondered if she had missed signs, if love could disappear without making noise. Emily didn't talk badly about Daniel in front of Noah. She chose her words carefully, protecting her son from confusion and pain. "Daddy is far away," she would say, "but he loves you." She hoped that part was still true. As time passed, the sharp pain softened into something duller. Not gone, but manageable. Emily started to breathe again. She stopped checking her phone every hour. She stopped waiting for answers that would never come. Slowly, she accepted a hard truth. Daniel had made his choice, and she could not undo it. Nearly a year after the message, on an ordinary Tuesday evening, Emily's phone buzzed again. She expected a work email. Instead, she saw Daniel's name. Her heart jumped despite herself. The subject line was simple: "I need to see you." Emily sat very still. Her first instinct was to delete it. She had rebuilt her life piece by piece. She wasn't sure she wanted to open old wounds, but curiosity, mixed with unfinished pain, held her there. She read the email. Daniel said he would be in the States for a few days. He said he wanted to explain. He said he wanted closure. Emily closed her laptop and stared at the wall. Closure. It was a word people used when they wanted relief without responsibility. She thought of the night she read his message at daycare. She thought of the months she spent putting herself back together. Did she owe him anything? No, but did she owe herself peace? Maybe. She agreed to meet him in a public place during the day. A cafe near her apartment. Neutral, safe, simple. In the days leading up to the meeting, Emily felt restless. She noticed old feelings trying to rise. Memories knocking at doors she thought were sealed shut. She reminded herself that time had changed her, that she was not the woman Daniel left behind. The morning of the meeting, Emily dressed carefully, not to impress, but to feel grounded. She dropped Noah at school, kissed his forehead, and told him she loved him. Then she walked to the cafe, heart steady but alert. She arrived early and chose a table by the window. As she waited, she watched people pass by, strangers living their own complicated lives. She wondered who Daniel was now. She wondered if seeing him would hurt more than the silence ever did. Then the door opened. Emily looked up, and in that moment she realized something important had already changed. The cafe door opened, and Emily's heart skipped, though she had promised herself she would be calm. Daniel Parker stepped inside, carrying a small leather bag and wearing a coat that looked familiar yet different, as if time had reshaped him. He spotted her immediately, hesitated for a fraction of a second, then walked over, hands in his pockets, trying to appear casual. He was thinner, the easy confidence he once carried now tempered with something heavier, something real. Emily's chest tightened, not with love, not with anger, but with recognition. This was the man who had shattered her world and yet remained a part of it. He nodded politely. Emily. His voice was quiet, controlled. Hi. He slid into the chair across from her, and for a moment neither spoke. Outside, people walked past the window, unaware of the quiet tension that had suddenly filled the small cafe. Steam rose from their coffee cups, curling into the space between them, like fragile smoke bridges that might connect the past and present or burn them completely. I thank you for meeting me, Daniel said, breaking the silence. His eyes looked almost apologetic, softer than Emily remembered. She nodded, gripping her cup tightly, sensing that the words he chose would shape the moment. I need to be honest, he said. Spain? It wasn't what I thought. I thought I was chasing freedom, but I was running from myself, from what I should have faced here. He paused, and Emily felt the weight of his gaze. She listened quietly, ready for explanations, though she didn't need them. His absence had already explained everything. He talked about the mistakes, about realizing how quickly desire and excitement can cloud judgment. He admitted how he had thought life would be better elsewhere, away from responsibilities, away from family. He spoke of regret, the kind that gnaws at a person quietly over months and months, leaving them smaller than they were. Emily's fingers tightened around the coffee cup, absorbing his words, not judging, not yet. She was learning to hear him, to measure his pain against her own resilience. I miss Noah, Daniel said, his voice breaking slightly. More than I can even describe. Every day I thought about what I lost, what I hurt, what I destroyed. Emily's chest tightened again. This wasn't a confession to win her back. It was a confession born from guilt, from longing, from the stark reality of mistakes that couldn't be undone. She felt a strange mixture of pity and strength. Pity for the man who had lost himself in strength because she had survived, rebuilt and grown without him. Emily leaned back in her chair, studying him carefully. Time had changed them both. He seemed smaller, less sure of himself, more human. And she had changed too. She had grown into a woman who could face him without trembling, who could hold her son, her life, and her peace intact. Daniel, she said calmly, I needed to survive while you were gone. I needed to learn who I am without you. Her voice was firm, but not cruel. She felt the power of her own words. It's the truth that no apology could erase what she had endured or accomplished. He nodded slowly, taking in her words. "I know," he said softly. "I see it. You've become strong. More than I ever imagined." There was admiration in his eyes, but Emily knew it wasn't an invitation to return. It was acknowledgement. Recognition of the life she had forged while he had been absent. She felt a twinge of emotion, not longing, but the bittersweet awareness of what had been and what could never be again. They spent hours talking, not about rekindling love, but about understanding, about closure. Daniel admitted his failures without making excuses. He spoke of the loneliness he found abroad, the relationships that had crumbled, the moments with Noah he could never reclaim. Emily responded honestly, recounting her months alone, the fears she had faced. The nights she had cried herself to sleep, and the mornings she had risen to protect her son. They shared memories, both painful and tender. Each story a brushstroke, painting a picture of lives intertwined yet diverging. When they left the cafe, Emily suggested a walk through the nearby park. Autumn leaves scattered across the paths, golden and red, mirroring the shifting emotions she felt. Daniel held Noah's hand lightly, guiding him on the small trails, laughing when Noah ran ahead and tripped over his own feet. Emily watched, both protective and detached, letting the father-son bond exist without forcing herself into it. She realized that forgiving doesn't mean forgetting. It means letting go. And she was learning to let go without losing herself. Later, Daniel paused on a small bridge overlooking a pond, looking at his reflection in the water. "Emily," he said quietly, "I don't expect anything from you. I just wanted to see you, to tell you I am sorry, and to let you know I see the person you've become, the mother you've become." Emily felt the truth in his words. He had come not to reclaim her, but to acknowledge what he had lost, and that, in its own way, was necessary. She took a deep breath, feeling the crisp air fill her lungs. "There's a future, Daniel," she said gently, "but it doesn't include going backward. We can't erase the past, and we can't pretend it didn't hurt. We can only move forward. Separately." He nodded, understanding that her decision wasn't rejection and anger, but assertion and clarity. She had learned that love sometimes means choosing yourself, choosing stability and peace over nostalgia and regret. As Daniel walked away, she watched him fade into the distance, the soft autumn light reflecting off his shoulders. He looked smaller, diminished, not by choice, but by consequence. And Emily felt something lift within her, a release. No bitterness, no hatred. Just clarity. The life she had rebuilt, the strength she had cultivated, the love she still carried for her son was enough. More than enough. That evening, back in her apartment, Emily sat by the window with a cup of tea, Noah asleep in his room. The city lights twinkled in the distance, soft and reassuring. She thought of Daniel, of the man who had left, and realized she didn't need him to complete her story. She had completed it herself, chapter by chapter, with courage, patience, and love. The heartbreak had shaped her, but it had not defined her. For the first time in a long time, she felt open not to a past that could not return, but to a future full of possibilities. A life where her choices were hers alone, where love could exist on her terms, gentle, respectful, and hopeful. She knew new chapters were waiting, chapters where she could be vulnerable without being broken, strong without being closed off, and ready to embrace life with an open heart. And as she sipped her tea, watching the city glow beneath the night sky, Emily smiled. She had survived. She had grown. And now she was free.